No, this is huge.
Yesterday was a rough day for me.
I think yesterday was a lot of energy. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, my body. I never get body situations.
Oh
My
my
body
God.
was screaming at me.
Look, my third eye. What happens to me? Oh, wait a minute here. So I'm gonna, because we're late.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even think I'm brain dead. Okay, so because we're late, I'm gonna play the intro. So
Please
people,
play it.
so so people can come in here.
Okay.
I just put up a post 12 minutes ago, right before I was waiting for you.
I know Shanine's waiting. She messaged.
It says, what? Oh, there's a live.
Yeah. A couple of people were waiting.
Okay, well, we're here now, so they're gonna have time to come in. I just put up a post when I was waiting for you. It said, biggest timeline jump I ever had. Anyone seen my ass? And I guess people are relating to it. I don't know. Yeah, here we go.
I felt protected.
We're good. Wait a minute. It's not fixed yet. Hang on.
Yay.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah. So this is, it's okay. So the first thing is we'll have to go out of sequence because that's the only way my brain's working right now.
Well, I feel like we're already out of sequence. So this is
what, yeah, but it's okay. Some of my favorite music is some of my favorite bands and musicians. I like when they're like, so what do they call it? When you're on the beat. I'm not a musician, but
they go on riff and
so
they do something.
they're on they're on a half. They're like half a beat off or half of something off.
Yes,
they're slightly off. I like that. So maybe that's what we're doing. So let me just explain. I don't know why we didn't do this. This was supposed to be last week, right? And
17.
Yeah, and today it's meant to be today. Like it's meant to be today. So I'm just gonna let you fill in the blanks, okay? Because I don't think everybody knows everything here.
Okay, so let's fill in the blanks.
So no, I was gonna. Okay, so yeah, I'm usually, you know me, I'm usually when the camera goes on, I'm on it. But
wait, are you saying we're live?
Yeah, we're live. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Oh, you didn't know that? I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know now. We're live on Facebook.
No!
There's about 85 people in the house right now on all the different platforms.
Okay.
Welcome everybody. So let me just give a little backdrop here. So Tiel Guadalupe is a very dear sister to me, right? So I remember seeing her. So I have to get my timeline straight. So,
that I can help you with.
So 2017. Okay, 2017, winter time, blizzards. So it was like
blizzard.
Yeah, late 2017, early 2018. Now you'd come into the I'd seen you on shows like by middle of 2017 or maybe even early 2017. It'd been quite a while. Yeah. So then what happened was I was suffering dearly, as we all thought we had to. And I was in a blizzard in the Northeast, kicked out of a hotel room, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was crying on the bed, punching the pillows, cursing the universe. And then I put up a prayer. And so TL who'd we never talked before. So TL put a note on the post, and she put, "Why don't we all send Todd $11.11?" And you and three other ladies did. So I'm in the shower at this hotel, my last shower, you know, like Jesus had a last supper. I was having the last shower before they threw me out into the fucking blizzard. And so what happened was I was in the shower and I kept hearing ding, ding, ding on my phone. Well, I had never used PayPal hardly, you know, I mean, and my phone was set up to where it was dinging every time a PayPal came in. So like I'm in the shower and it goes off 4 times and I just kept hearing, "We got you," you know? So the bottom line was, by the time I got out, and then I went and sat in the lobby trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I was in central New Jersey, and I was going to try to get to Grand Central Station in downtown New York City. So then I could figure I could get somewhere, right? I had some options. I just had to figure out how I was going to pay for it. Well, so I'd never used Lyft before. Uber wouldn't let you use PayPal. So I looked up Lyft and they said, "Yeah, we can get you to Grand Central Station. It's going to cost $94.50. And I had like $96 because of you and the ladies. And so I got to Grand Central Station. So then we connected, and but you were real shy, and you still are until today. Today we're going to pop your cherry. So anyway, what happened was then Morgan came and all that stuff happened in New Jersey, and we had the big event with
It was beautiful. That wedding was
we got married, yeah. And then she went back, and then I went to Houston to take care of some stuff. And then I was trying to figure out, how am I going to get her over here? I don't have any money. You know, the universe was telling me all this incredible stuff. Go to Sedona. We're gonna enhance your transmission. And I thought, oh, it's all gonna happen there. And I get over there, and it's like I'm in the cheapest place I could find, and it was $500 a week. It was like the Bates Hotel. I swear to you, okay. And of course, Sedona, it's such a gift. But anyway, so then we decided we were going to meet. So we met at the Chocolate Tree, whatever the heck that's called. Great atmosphere, horrible food. Excuse me.
No. First, no, you messaged me and you said, "Where are you at?" Like, you know, my brother. And I was like,
"Oh yes."
I said, "Where are you?" And you were at the Picasso's, and I was like, "I'm next door at Natural Grocers." So I ran over because I had just gotten done work.
Where was I at? A pizza place?
Yeah, it was right after you and that one big Bell Rock thing.
Yeah.
Remember when you?
Yeah, yes. But so what really happened, what we really forgot was I got to Sedona the first night. You're living in Sedona with your daughters.
Yes.
And your grandkids. I get to Sedona the first night. The universe presented these two ladies to me, and they're like, "Hey, we got an Airbnb on the west side of Sedona," because I was going to stay in VOC with this lady. And that just happened. It was supposed to happen. So I went over there to broadcast. They had great internet. And the first night I'm there, after I did some broadcasts, I went out back, and I saw in the back alley, I saw this man dog running through the back alley. And I was sitting there with this friend of mine, and it was running through the back alley. Yes. Okay. And he ran through, and I said, "What the hell is that?" And I turned and I got down on my knees, and I looked at him, and he was crouched down looking at me, and he said, I'm a interdimensional being. He said something about Sirius, and I don't know if he said Anubis that night, but I think he did.
No,
he didn't. Yeah. So then the next day before we met, we were talking on the phone, and you said, "You never guess what happened last night? I was laying on my couch, and this man dog ran through my backyard." And I said, "That happened to me. That shit happened to me last night." And so, yeah. And so then we met at Chocolate Tree, and it's the first time it's ever happened to me. So it was the first time it ever happened to me. I was sitting in front of somebody, and their higher self jumped out, and your higher self jumped out and had like, yeah, you were like this, you know, really, you had like pointy ears. Your face looked the same, but you had like different colored skin. You had these pointy ears. You had this like collar that went up like that, you know? You ever see the you ever see the Flintstones, and they had that E.T.
Yes.
Yes, they had a collar.
That little Martian guy.
Yeah. You had a little collar like that. And And I was like, what? You know, like I'm talking to you and you're like going
That's
100 miles an
so
hour.
fun.
And I'm trying to like, what are you trying to tell me? And now I get on the phone with Morgan afterwards. She's like, well, you know, when that happens, you're supposed to ask the higher self or ask the person if, because the higher self wanted to tell you something. Okay. So I didn't know that. I didn't know the protocol. Excuse me, you know?
Thank God for Morgan. Yay!
So, yeah, so we've had this journey in, yeah, in Sedona, and then we went to Kauai, and then you came to Kauai, and it was like, we were just talking about this because you passed through on your way to California from the East Coast over here in Arkansas for a couple,
Yeah.
2-3 days, right?
What was that? The weekend. Yeah.
And I had never realized because July of 2019 was really intense. We'd been in Kauai for 9 months. We thought we were going to live there. You went to the place. You know what it was like. I mean, it was on an organic farm overlooking overlooking the ocean. It was affordable for that place. I mean, it was about as good a deal as you could get. So what happened was all through July of 2019, or a couple of times, I kept getting, we're about to leave. And I would tell Morgan, I'd say, Morgan, I think we're leaving. She goes, be quiet. We're not going anywhere. So then you came, and I didn't
I think you were
realize
fighting it because I said to you, I don't think you're staying.
You did too?
Like, we're going to be here forever. And I'm like,
well, I was in denial.
No.
I was in denial. But what I didn't realize is you came because we had another sister come.
Yes.
Zavetta Da Vinci had come a couple of months earlier, and this was like the first time, and we were told you're entering a triad. Mm-hmm. And so now we're in a triad. Zavetta's there, and it was, man, it was crazy. I mean, like it was crazy. I mean, it was powerful. It was hard on the human. Mm-hmm. The last night or 2 nights before she was going to leave, this man who she'd met, who was kind of like a twin flame thing, transitioned. We'll just leave it at that. So then we went down to the beach, and then he was trying to jump in me, and then Christiane was trying to jump in me, her son who had passed the year before.
Yes.
So what ended up happening was I invited them both into me. I will never do that again. Okay. I invited both of them into me. They both jumped into me, and we had a wild night. It was so wild that I almost came out of it ready to go to that planet, you know, where all the monks live. I was ready to say, I'm never gonna stray the line again. But anyway, so it was really powerful. And then you came, and you were coming in like the last 10 days of the month. In fact, I took you to the airport like just a few days before we left.
Well, remember, I got there on the 17th because that's the day you guys picked me up, and that was amazing because it was the first time I met Morgan in person.
Do you know that the 17th was the day? This is a year later. What the fuck is going on? Wait, you were supposed to be. You were scheduled to be on the show on the 17th.
You're so late to the party. Hello, that's why I chose it. That's what our diving into the waterfall, because Morgan wanted to do it, remember? Because we mailed her green card as soon as you picked me up from the airport. That's what we did.
Oh, we mailed her application.
Yeah.
God, this is weird. Okay, so I'm going to just accelerate this thing so you can take over, because we need to introduce you on a personal level to everyone, because everybody knows your energy. So we left there, and we all had huge experiences, right? You were like, you know, you were out there on the tightrope, the lightworker tightrope, like going from here, how am I going to survive tomorrow, and having trust, and you know, we've all been there. We were actually in the same boat. We had to borrow money just to leave. And so then I guess I saw you again in Sedona when we got to the mainland, and then you came by here the other day, and I told everybody.
Well, we were at Siesta Keys together. God, I was at my sister's in Tampa.
You were in Siesta Key.
Yeah.
So we saw you at Sedona, then Siesta Key, then Sedona, then Arkansas. Is there anywhere else that we miss anything?
Hawaii, Sedona, Siesta Key, Arkansas, and you're coming to Shasta, right?
You can't make this shit up. Okay, so basically, and then by the way, you left here and went to see the beautiful Ana Maria Garcia
Yay!
and Laramie, Wyoming. You know, which is great.
No,
you
actually, she's in Cheyenne, by the way.
Oh, in Cheyenne. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just took a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Laramie's right outside, but she's in Cheyenne.
So yeah, and so what? Okay, so this is what happened beginning yesterday.
Yes.
All right. And this is going to lead into you. All right. So what happened was Melina Ferguson, that incredible goddess from, I think she's Morgan's like twin sister or something. I don't know. Well, she lives on, I don't know if you've watched any of her shows, but when she's been on, she just agreed to come on once a month and just kind of do some regular. Yeah, because she's got some special stuff to offer. But she lives on that property. If you go to her page, one of the last posts she put up, she has a labyrinth. She lives on a property that is a portal, that was a portal that she's expanded. Her and her family all live in consciously. We're talking children, husband, and herself. Amazing. She makes these essences in co-creation with the universe. She has a special place here. If you go to her page, you'll see this labyrinth, and in the middle there's like this thing, and I think they put them in there and then they do their thing, right? So I didn't realize. Now, she was the last person I interviewed before I left Florida, and it was an incredible experience. I was in this place. I was about to go into the abyss, and it was just crazy. So I had forgotten all about it, and so we got a package yesterday, and in the package, she sent Morgan and I some of these essences. Now, one of them is very special. It's called Todd's Soul Signature, and there's a whole thing that goes with it. And whenever she comes on, I'm going to talk about it. Wow. But I followed the directions, and I took 7 drops. I sat with this. I talked to it. Yeah, I talked to it. I took 7 drops, and then I put it down. This is where it's going. So then I put it down, and she sent me this, which is Merlin, right? Merlin.
You took them both?
No, this is a spray. Okay. So here's the thing. When I was in Florida, around the time I was talking to her, and I don't deal with a lot of divine essences or angels or galactics anymore, typically. But I'm in the RV having my own alone time as we're leading up to leaving, and because there was a big shift happening, and Merlin popped in. Merlin and Sherlyn. First it was Sherlyn, and then Merlin. Merlin came. And so, okay, so now fast forward. I put this on yesterday. I don't know what the hell happened last night. I don't know what happened today. 2,000 shows. I've never missed a show. I've had shows I've missed because of technical issues, but I've never really missed a show, like, oh, I just forgot. You know what I mean? 2,000 shows. So I get up this morning at 7 a.m. I'm like, what's going on last night? My third eye had a big burn on it. I don't know if you can see it. There's a red spot right there. You see it? Anytime I burn a lot of DNA, I get this thing right here.
When I was there, you had it.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah. And so then what happened was, the lady hit me up, and she's like, hey, I've been waiting for you. And it was like an hour later. She goes, I guess you're not going to be here. And I'm like, oh, you're the one that's off. And then I looked at it, I thought, oh my God, what's going on? I felt like I was literally on another timeline. And I was totally like wobbled off, And so then you and I had the problems getting on here. And and I knew you were going through something because I saw your post last night, and you're going up into the mountains. And then right before we got on, Delia Flores, who is, I know when you meet her, it's gonna be like you and Anna, it's like that. She writes me and says, you were in my field last night, and you were Merlin. I'm like, okay. So we have Anubis here. We have, this is with all due respect, believe me, I'm not making any jokes.
Oh no. Why? Anyway, he'll come get you.
So what? Yeah. Well, I'm him though. But
I know.
So what happened? What happened on your end in the light? And then we'll go back to your story.
I don't have answers for anyone else ever. For me, just the post that I did when I finally got to Ashland, and I called you and you said, okay, I'm going to do this. Call me whenever you're ready. And when I went into the forest, I didn't, but I was tapped to call you. You remember the other day? On Messenger? That's why I never called you. So I went into the forest, and just because everything's guidance, and I always try to condense everything because I am shy and I have, issues sharing. So I condense it, but I don't want to lose, the majesty and the miraculous that happens to us all the time. It's just, it's so beautiful. And, all over we'll share, people will talk about their symptoms or, all the challenges, which we really have been through, and we're pretty amazing the way we handle it. But speaking about all of the things that we actually experience internally, in our internal world, I think is really right now the new experience and the way that we come together. So I'm going to do that. So my whole journey back across the country, and so I don't know if anybody knows, I don't know, should I fill everybody in? I had to leave Mount Shasta last month. I moved here from Sedona, I was called. And after being here a month, I had to go to the East Coast. My son had emergency brain surgery. And I knew all this was coming because I was prepared. And there are the experiences that are kind of hard to share publicly at this juncture, but I'll do my best. So I had been talking a lot. First of all, I was here on Helen Quayle's property. She has a beautiful cabin I was staying in. And I was talking with Amanda Lawrence back and forth because there was something massive, happening that we were all experiencing, but some of us quite similarly. So we know to tap each other, who to call, or, if we should. Most of the time I don't, to be honest, but I was really moved. And it was just a beautiful kind of simultaneous experiences. But Amanda, I bring her up because she's the last person I talked to. There had been so much just absolute internal travel and visceral multidimensionality coming through.
When was
and
this?
For me, this was the last week in May, but it actually was the 31st of May that all this really culminated.
Yeah.
So right before the eclipse.
That's right.
That whole week was like
Hell week.
Everything was June 1st, it's on, but June I wasn't 1st, paying attention to any of this. I just know I was being prepared.
Yeah.
And I just, I totally embrace it. But there was something else being prepared. And so my son was at a timeline transition point. He had a choice. He was at a choice point. And I was prepared. I was being prepared for that. And it has to do with the Palladians and this son of mine. He's my only son. He's my sunshine. He's 30. And he actually, at 17 years old, had the Pallades tattooed on the back of his arm. And this is important.
Did he do that without any influence from you?
I did not know. He had been waking up. He was a starseed. He was talking to his sister. They weren't sharing it with me. But obviously, major. However, by the time he went to college, I had gone through my whole near-death, activation, physical activation. But when that happened, he was starting college. He wound up leaving after the first semester, backpacking Bolivia. I'm telling you this, it's important. He went to Lake Titicaca. He was guided to all these places. And then something traumatic happened to him there. He was held at gunpoint. I'll just tell you that. And he was able to talk to me. And then it was a whole beautiful thing. So, but when he comes back, this trauma, he starts closing down. He starts going, he felt he was psychotic. He really thought he needed help, and still not telling me. But meanwhile, all of his wake up was waking me up. And so he is the reason for my wake up. And that started.
Right? I never knew that.
In 08. Mm-hmm.
So he's a late teens, early 20s, having a wake up, a full-blown wake up experience. He puts Pleiades on his back. He goes to Titicaca and he just
does it all.
This is happening, and you're totally oblivious to galactic and all that stuff at this point.
Oblivious at this point. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Consciously oblivious. Wow. Mm-hmm. So that was 2010 that happened, and he started shutting down while I was being forced, because I kind of woke up in 08, but I just kept hitting the snooze button. I really, it was a lot. I was raising 4 kids. I had a career, keeping up with the Joneses. I was a single mom, and, it took me a decade to get the whole American dream together.
A girl's got to do what she's got to do.
And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. No.
There's 111 people in the house, right as you said that.
Everyone. Yeah. So anyway, he went back to sleep. I start waking up. He is the most pure-hearted, conscious being, and he lives it. But he refuses to reopen anything having to do with galactic, even spirituality. He thinks it's so much more than you, Todd. It's boots on the ground. Yeah. If you speak it, you see something wrong, you fix it. That's his life. His life, the civil rights movement, like all that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so he's decided to do it that way, and I'm honoring that. But I can see that his higher self was pushing. And I was pulled in. Yeah. Always agreements, right? And so when I got here to Mount Shasta, again, back to the 31st of May, I'm having this profound experience, but simultaneously having to do with him. I'm called up to the mountain. I text him after I hang up with Amanda, and I knew I had to go to the mountain for him. So I go, I'm led to do a ceremony. By the way, it's really important. Tom Bear sent me a box of crystals right before that. And these things, I had to put them around my room. They were talking to me. It was incredible. This is normal for me, and I'm sure many of you. But it's important because I had to bring all of them up to the mountain. And I thought I was doing grid work or, I have to hike up to this spot, into this clearing. And it's just profound. It was in the middle of the day, and I don't have to lay them all out. I just have to, like I usually would. Mm-hmm. I just have to do whatever they're telling me. And of course, Jen, our dear beloved Jen, who shows up many of the times wherever we are. Jen
Jen Reynolds?
My Jen, Reyes, who she's not on Facebook.
Oh, Jen.
Yes, Jen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jenny, what do you call her? Jenny OG or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's her email. So anyway, Jen, no matter what,
so she shows up.
We connected in Sedona, and every single time I'm in the middle of a grid, I'm off grid, no service, and bing, Jen sends me a message. You got to listen to this.
We need
what
to
about this?
Send her the Zoom link. Send her the Zoom link. We need to get.
No, she's on YouTube right now. Oh, she'll come in. Ask her. She'll come in. She's on YouTube, and so I would love her to come in. So she's come to Sedona. She flies just for 2 days. She flew in for my birthday, but she flew in for Shakina's thing. She flew in for your thing. Remember, she was at the live that we did with Charlene, Shakina, and everybody. Yeah. So her. We were all.
Is she Perez? I didn't think she.
Yeah, Perez. It's Perez. I always say Reyes.
All this time, I get her mixed
Perez.
up. So that's her. All this time making all those great comments.
And then she was in Siesta Key Beach.
Yeah, I remember her.
And so, anyway, I'm up on Mount Shasta doing this thing, and of course my phone dings. And who is it? It's Jen sending me a Palladian meditation, just music.
Yeah.
Because I was asking certain things to clarify. And of course, so it was lovely. I'll fast forward. So I get back that night, and they're telling me I got to keep doing this work because he's at a choice point. I got to keep doing this work. So I'm supposed to focus on this field and whatever. They walk me through a process because you don't ever intervene with anything but you can help amplify the energetic. And so that's what I was doing with his choice point. And so it's about midnight and I'm like, I'm tired. I need to go to sleep now. I need to rest. And they're like, you have to stay focused on him, even if you drift off. And I did. And in an hour, my phone dinged and I picked up the phone. I couldn't get back to this timeline. It was a whole big thing because I was there. I finally get back to this timeline. I wake up enough to get the phone and it's his partner. And she is saying, Tiel, Z just got out of brain surgery. I just spoke with the neurosurgeon, blah, blah, blah. I'm in this place. He's here, blah. And I wasn't quite coherent. And I'm not sure if I'm still in another realm. And this is one of the choice points. And I really couldn't get my bearings of where I was. Like, which realm is this happening in? But I'm looking at the phone and the phone's telling me I have to come back to where the phone is, like in the physical realm. So I came back and I'm trying to absorb it. And lo and behold, so I knew because before I texted him. So this is all becoming like actual in real time now. And it's just profound. And I don't know, I text him because I'm told I have to connect in. So I screamed his name in my head and I typed his name with a bunch of exclamation points to him. And when I sent the text, it delivered. And I saw the text that I had sent him earlier before I went to the mountain was 1:23 p.m. And he had answered me back. He said, Mama, I love you. You know it. And that text had delivered at 1:23 a.m.
You can't make this stuff up.
And because it was 1:23 ascending, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew in my core everything
was okay.
Yeah. It was going to be okay. But I still had to bring the human in. Yeah. And I still had to deal with all the layers because my body was in shock, the adrenaline, you know, whatever. And yeah, so he had brain surgery and it was pretty severe.
Wow.
But he has no brain damage. He is fully recovered, just to say that part.
He's what?
Fully recovered. He has no brain damage.
Now, was it a head injury or a bullet?
Yeah. So during the peaceful protests
in Charlotte.
In Asheville. No, he's in Asheville.
Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah. They believe it was actually a police officer that hit him over the head with a street sign and crushed his left side of his skull, which then they showed me there was a reason why that part of the skull had to come off. And, you know, it's multi-layer, right? And for whatever reason, I never was shaken really about anything. I was, you know, affected, but I wasn't shaken. So that's why I drove across the country to Asheville.
But so I didn't know, I'm just putting the pieces together because I know, well, look, I left on the 28th of May, right? And so this happened to you on the 31st. And I know, and I knew, that's what I was talking about earlier when Merlin and Cher Lynn came into the RV and Morgan and I were taking alone time for 3 or 4 days as we're leaving. Yep. And she's flying and I'm driving. And, but that was that month, June was absolutely super intense. And then really, I'd say, well, July was like a turbocharged, you know, ejection out of a cosmic cannon, you know, on the first. And then it kind of culminated like with the
yeah, but they fired those boosters in June, though, didn't they?
Oh, there was a shitload of boosters in June. June was a different cosmic multiple timelines.
Yes.
July was.
I agree.
Yeah. So I was just trying to you know, kind of like reintegrate all that what you just said, because everybody that's been on the show, because I was down till probably the 20th of June. Franco came on. Franco was the second to the last person that I interviewed in Florida. And so we kind of like got a recharge there. But everything was just like, you know, like they say, I don't want to be vulgar, but you know, everything was just full blown, full court press.
Yeah.
And so this is happening to you. I've also had a young friend of mine who's about the same age, okay, who just transitioned 2 days ago.
Oh.
and then Angie Parker's son.
Yes. Yes.
Very similar thing happened to him all
Yes.
around the same time. You know,
yes, his was this eclipse, right before this eclipse. Yeah. So for me, you know, being shown all these things, they're really opportunities, you know, when we want to really jump timeline, shift, make a choice point, you know, within 48 hours, my daughter's best friend, now these are young people, he transitioned.
Yeah.
And
there's quite a bit of that.
It's really incredible, but there's also the choice point where you're seeing major jumps, and we're moving it through. I mean,
well, the
it's
1,
so funny.
2,
I didn't
3.
feel like this was going to be the conversation, but
You didn't think this was going to be the conversation?
Yeah,
what did you think it was going to be?
I didn't know what
this is your life, like that old show? No.
No,
but I think another thing that your story brings out too is I reflect, you know, on the past few weeks. Because to me, even though the last few weeks had all these turbocharged, you know, these new gears put into place and all that, high performance modifications to the Merkabahs, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Even though all this was happening in the last few weeks, I have, even before it, but I mean, leading up to it, I've been getting my clarity.
Yes.
It's been getting sharper and sharper and sharper. It doesn't mean that I'm walking on water. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that I'm getting it. And it's weird. And last night with Morgan, which we haven't even had a review today, it was the same way. And it's like, I can't even explain it. I just know it. And but one of the things that you brought up that I think, I don't know how everybody else feels, because we've talked about 1111s and numerical sequences and, you know, synchronicities with numbers and all that. But what I did notice over the last few weeks, as the fluctuations were doing this, right?
Yeah.
Every time there was, from a human perspective, a potential judgment of what the F is going on, or, you know, there was always a number. I'd get in the car, it'd be 12, 12, 11, 11, 10, 10, you know.
And even different numbers for me too. Yeah. I've been seeing, you know, like for whatever reason, like the sevens, lots of sevens, and the fours, like four, like, I don't know why. That's been recent, but the
big, you know, I remember 2 years ago, we're talking about Amanda. So Amanda in late, God, how can I be so feeble? But I think it was the fall.
It's not feeble. It's because we don't need it.
I know, but I think it was the fall of 2018. So what happened was, as we were starting to really build SOULSPEAKS 5D, Amanda and I started doing a collaboration on the show. Like we were doing like 2 a month. Like we probably did about 8 in the fall.
Yeah.
And I remember she wrote a post, because we were really getting to know each other at the time. We're reconnecting. And she wrote a post about 2-1, 2-1, 2-2-2-2, 21-21, and all these different configurations of the 2 and the 1 in 4, 5, 6, 7 number sequences. And that's been huge. That has been huge. And as time has gone on, I don't even remember what the post said, but I think it said, as we get into 2020, you're going to see more and more and more.
And a lot of her stuff is doing that, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Go ahead. No,
I'm done. I'm done. I'm good.
Well, I was going to say what you were pointing to before, like, so like, that's the biggest thing in my experience this past 6 months. And as every week, every day goes by, it gets more refined. These things are happening. And I mean, anybody who is near me, close to me, even you, and with what happened with my son and so many things, like, for whatever reason, I don't get so shaken anymore, because that doesn't mean we're not feeling it as much, even like you're saying, these explosions, but in, you know, these refinements, we're so grounded.
Yeah.
We're like, we call it a knowing and a being. And that's the thing, we're actually being more of who we are in every moment. That's allowing us to handle which is what we were talking about before, a couple of years ago, leading up to this, way showers and all that, have to do this and that, because when the energy really starts hitting, you got to have space for that. You have to, and you have to have anchored in, so you can like really anchor in and stay in the eye of the storm. And we didn't expect it to look this way, is what I feel. Mm-hmm. But how it looks is what no one else expected. But this is it. This is us. Shanine and Jet Riverstone had a show the other night, and I caught it. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, my heart just burst constantly. But listening to them was, and then I heard Shanine again, which was interesting because I hadn't been able to listen to any shows. She then was talking to, I think, Zahira Celestial. Shanine was pointing in both conversations to this experience, to this new experience that does not have any of the labels or even being held in the containers that they were once held in. And it's just that you have to just be it. You're just it. You walk it, you be it. Yeah. And even when you hear the old echo arise, it's just an echo. I mean, I'm speaking, for a lot of people, and we're all in different, various degrees of whatever experiences. Yeah. But I see us all being actually in the same experience, in this beautiful, like, just amalgamation of, experiences that make it so rich. So to be clear, I really appreciate the fact that we are doing this all so differently. Yeah. And especially
differently, but the same. Which makes it weird. Which makes it weird.
Beautiful.
Well, you know what I noticed is, so because it is all different, but it's the same. What I noticed was, I don't know how I'm going to explain this, because this information that I'm getting clarity on, I can't seem to explain it, but it's like this. It's obvious that the timeline, energy, everything's changing. It's quantum. It's just not running the same way. But at the same time, and I love what you said about the echoes, because these things come back and they're just echoes. They're literally just an echo. The first time they come in, by the second time you hear it, it's softer, and then right. But one thing that I am noticing in myself, and I've been saying this for a few weeks, that it's taken all of my time, pretty much all of my time, to stay on top of myself. Like to be
all your energy, right?
To stay conscious and to go, okay, why do I have, did I not drink enough water yesterday? Why is my skin peeling again? And all the different, the emotional, the mental, the day-to-day stuff. But what I'm noticing is, even though these things are changing and changing rapidly at a quantum, that sounds like a cliche, but the human aspect, on one hand is gaining responsibility, and equally in the other hand, holding itself accountable.
Yes.
And I mean that, because it's like you can bullshit everybody else, but you can't bullshit yourself. And I'm watching it happen in the field. I'm watching it with myself, I'm watching it in the field with people, particularly people that have been out there, which is interesting because they're still plugging away. They're still doing their thing. And yet you can see the struggle. If you, we can all see different things, but we can see enough of it. And then the other thing I'm seeing too is, particularly women, some men, but particularly women like you, that are starting to step up. I mean, you're getting a microphone, for Christ's sake.
That is not to, okay.
I mean, you're going to be a DJ, but this feminine energy. Okay. I think it's difficult what kind of messes it up for me, and everybody else may be okay with it, I'm not. And that is, it's not totally accurate in terms of our physical gender. It's involving all of us beyond the cliches. Now, the physical gender, the women tend to be displaying the energetic patterns or the energetic movements or the energetic advancement or expansion and of the dance of the part they're playing. But it's starting to get really, really intricate, drilled down to the specifics. This is where you go with the human has to hold itself accountable as it gains responsibility. I don't know. This is what I'm seeing. And it's very interesting, but to me, I'm like, hey, we're doing a hell of a job. We're doing a great job. We really are. And what the heck? I mean, it's only July 21st. What's going to happen over the next 5 months when the solstice comes?
But isn't it great? Like, honestly, think about that. We're saying that, and it is rough. It's like, when you go out in the ocean and you're swimming and your arms get tired and you're like, and then you look and you're like, oh man, did I come out this far? I got to go all the way back, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whatever metaphor you want to use. So like, we're doing it, and it's it's a bit taxing sometimes. However, look how far.
Yeah.
Look how far.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Look how far we've come. And the further the extreme gets, then we know that's how far we're going. Like, it's really hard to put into words. And I can't help but see the upside in all of it, in everything. And because I'm now being shown finally. So if I go back to the other day, I got to Oregon and Ashland. But before I got there, first of all, Oregon's amazing. I did east to west. Oh my gosh, terrain change every single way.
Yeah, it's an amazing place.
It's amazing. It was incredible. It's surprising to me. So I get close and I had to drive in like 10 hours because I kept being stopped, and they're all stories, whatever. But the whole thing with Ashland was I was told I needed to pause there. I had to stay. I'm like, okay, it's late at night. So I went to sleep and I woke up and it was clear. Everything I did was clear. Where to go. I went to look for a chai, which is so abnormal for me. I just drink water or whatever. And where I went, just everything. And then I'm told, you got to go into the forest. You got to go find a hike. And I'm like, but I'm going to Shasta. Like, I'm like so close. It's an hour away. I'm right there. That's my thing. But I was listening actually. And I'm like, okay. So as soon as I pull something up, it tells me yes, whatever, I go. And it's way up on this really steep street right off the main drag. But then, and you actually have to go in between houses. It's magical. But when I got up there, I was having so many experiences in the middle of a neighborhood. I mean, so it wasn't about the forest yet. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was guided to reach out to you, because I'm like, this has to do with so much of what we're doing. Because I just left with the codes and words. And then I start merging with another. So we've been talking about these merges, this collective merge that I experience. It's this collaboration of all my selves.
All your aspects.
Yes. And
so you start merging with all your aspects.
Just one main one. It's okay. Like it's truly like spoke wheels, and there's like clusters of them.
Yeah.
And she came in the blue dragonfly. Greeted me, stayed with me for 2 hours on that walk. I have pictures, the videos, everything that I posted.
You're talking about in physical form as well, right? As a blue dragonfly.
They showed me because my whole thing has been, I need it, like, just like even speaking, I need to embody whatever it is I want to speak about. And for the longest time, I knew that whatever way showing and pioneering people were doing, which was so valuable to me, and being prodded to step up or whatever, it wasn't for me. I needed to do certain things, and I have to do, we all do, but I have to do certain things, and I have to do it as I'm guided. I have to be true and pure to my knowing of why I'm here. And my experience is really for me. If it impacts anybody, that's a beautiful
that's right.
side effect. So anyway, that was the whole thing about, so the lead up to the past couple days.
That's
and
trippy,
being
man.
Flattened out yesterday.
Were you flattened out? Were you flattened out yesterday?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I got here to Helen's, and she's camping. She's not here, or else I'd be pulling her in to say hi. And so I'm house sitting because she Airbnb, so I'm helping, to manage that while she's gone. And I got here, I did what I had to do. I got into the bed, and all yesterday I really couldn't move much. And plus I wanted to go through my pictures, but I was like, nap, do it. Like, but my
I don't feel so bad now.
Good. It didn't feel good. And I don't usually not feel well. I just am tired. Where yesterday my body hurt and everything hurt. And then midnight, it's like, get up, get to the mountain. I'm like, oh,
at midnight. Okay. They sent you up there at midnight.
Yeah. And I slept there until this morning, which were the pictures I did this morning. And so, and I don't put half of them, but if there's an energetic that's supposed to be given, that's why I do it. That's the only reason why I do it.
Absolutely. That stuff's powerful. Robin Redford, you know her?
Oh gosh, I love her stuff.
Yeah. Robin, I've been asking her for 2 years. Robin Redford, speaking of images, she's going to come on. Did she say
yes?
Yeah, she's coming on.
Because I was going to message her to get on because
she's coming on the 30. She's coming on the 31st.
Okay.
And that'll be, but yeah, because like I know, even like when I was traveling around, well, even before that, I was flat told, video and still images. I was told there's code.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that was.
When we were at Siesta Keys, I want to share that when we're done. I'll figure out how to add it to the post. So Todd, remember I showed you the photo. So we all met in Siesta Keys. Greg, Todd, a bunch of other, Marcy, and I don't know.
There was a bunch of people.
Yeah. Jen, my sister, Gina, my actual sister.
Laura Ormsby was there.
There was a gentleman. I think his name was Peter or.
There was just a bunch of people, and it was an impromptu. It was an impromptu. Let's all go meet. And Greg's like, we're going to meet at the tree, and everybody's like,
the grandmother tree.
Yeah, like that trees. One. Yeah, it was. And they were like, we're going to meet at the tree, and we're like, the tree, and then you look it up on Google, and there's actually a place for the tree.
Yes, so
it's the only middle of the tree beach. On the beach in Siesta Key.
Middle of the freaking beach.
Yeah,
it's in sand.
Yeah.
People. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Hold on. It's in the middle of the beach. So anyway, I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I think the vibration's going crazy. Grandmother tree's here. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
So anyway, there's a photo I really want to share that I should have shared then, but I guess I really didn't share it out. When we finished that gathering and we didn't have lighting, if you remember, you guys tried to go live and did briefly,
it was pitch dark out there. It was pitch dark. And
we're leaving at maybe 11 or so. We closed it up. When did we exit? I think it was about 11.
Yeah.
So
it was fairly early.
Jen and Gina and myself are like the last ones to go to the car, and we're just walking away from the tree, and my sister Gina says, I got to take the picture. Like, because we were like carrying things, and she turns around, we're like, what are you doing? And she's like, I got to take this picture. And we just all stopped, and everything that went silent. She's taking pictures, and I wind up, I'm like, well, I might as well just, and as I was walking, I was just like, click, click, click. Astonishing what she caught. Her photos, and then because of the way I did it, it corroborates what she caught in the sky. And it's literally, well, I want everybody to say what they get from it, especially if you have that sensitivity, but it's a galactic highway, the grandmother tree. And when I got back to the hotel, I don't often read this newsletter anymore, but Energetic Synthesis by Lisa Renee.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I just don't read her regularly.
Yeah.
But when it comes into my field, like really into my field.
It's a good reference. Very good.
Great, reference. Right? So that night, she delivers a newsletter talking about the stargates, and the last stargate of the 12 or 13, which I don't remember, and it's in there. You can reference her newsletter.
I remember that.
2020. They have both. They have two ends. Yeah. Siesta Key is the other end of Zion in Israel, and it was just, oh God!
This is where
we got it on film. Is my point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this, but this is where, this is one of the big things to me is like, because we're always talking about what are we releasing and what are we, this and that, becoming aware of and conscious of and all that. But the things that our impact, our power, like you cannot underestimate the power of one unique and equal soul. Like you cannot underestimate 25 people meeting at the tree. The planets are aligning, this is, you can't, and I guess what I'm trying to say is, on one hand, you can't underestimate it. But on the other hand, I think what's happening is we're starting to get proof.
Yes.
Starting to get verifiable proof. The universe tells you to, like when you came by here last week.
What happened?
And the storm come. First of all, there's lightning. I
have video of it.
Yeah, there's like lightning almost 360 degrees in the sky. And it's not real. It's like a light show. It wasn't even like lightning. It was like a light show. And then eventually,
it's centered right at us. Yeah. It was incredible.
And I knew in that moment, because I've had enough, especially here, because I'd already been like not playing around, but connecting with the nature beings. But it's a huge portal here. So that was us. And that's what I'm saying. We're going to start seeing stuff like that. Like I remember, and I told this story a couple of times, but I remember when we were in Florida and Morgan and I were going through our typical, curriculum of elevations and expansions and downloads and activations and all that. And we had a particularly powerful week. And I said, wow, we're really going to start seeing stuff in the room now. Like they're going to take on a physical presence, even they won't be even translucent anymore. They'll be actually physical. And she said, no, that's not going to happen. I said, what are you talking about? She said, no, it's us now.
Yes.
It's us. So we're going to start seeing this in each other.
Yeah.
And we're also going to start, like we've had Michael Monk was on here and other people that play with energy, and we can all do that. But like, maybe that's something that they special, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we're actually going to see this in each other in a bigger and bigger and bigger way. And I think that's going to be a real game changer.
Yeah. Absolutely. For me, I feel like it's me showing me, because the more we come along in the journey, it really gets to the point of questioning the believability and my mind, the way it works. I don't know about anybody else, but I like to be reinforced with as much confirmation.
It's like your son. I mean, we've all been there. We've all gone, am I crazy? Like, am I just delusional? Is everybody else like, so-and-so's connected, but am I just imagining that I'm connected?
I have had that experience at least 10 times in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And even while Jen flew into Shasta when I got here, you could even ask Jen, like, even she said to me, and that really freaked me out because I freaked her out. Our experiences were so out of this world. At one point she said to me, are you dragging me into your delusions? And I was like, and I questioned, because I ask myself that all the time. Am I making this up? But no, no, I'm not. No. But I'm choosing to be in this world. And if it's not in the same realm as everybody else, I'm okay with it now. Yeah. I'm okay. And we don't need drugs for that.
No. Well, Depends.
Well, me, I'm saying I'm happy that
no,
I used to be jealous.
Actually,
like people used to take these rides and I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah. Actually,
No.
that's a good point. I'm just going to say something to that because, you know, I read this thing the other day and I don't know who it was. It was somebody that we probably all know, but I mean, I like someone like an Alan Watts or Graham Hancock or somebody, but they were talking about psychedelics and they said the great thing about psychedelics is they'll let you know when you're done. And so I can relate to that. I remember like when I did ayahuasca, I remember I was told, but you don't need to do this stuff anymore. You're good. You know, like, so who knows? I mean, some people, but
it's not to say if someone's called to it, because it can open gates, major gates. I'm not saying I do not have a judgment or opinion about it.
No, I got you.
I just not have been allowed.
Yeah. I got to tell you this, this young man, that I was telling you transition 2-3 days ago from my hometown. So I was working, I think it was Sunday night. It was Sunday night. I was working here in this spot, and I'd been blowing and going all day. And my buddy, one of my very closest friends, he sent me a note and he told me, hey, this is what's up. So I immediately shut it down. And I thought, you know, because where I come from, you know, if somebody transitions, I'm going to have a shot or I'm going to have a beer, you know, I'm going to.
Yeah.
So here where I'm at in Arkansas, it's dry on Sunday. So I had to drive 30 miles to this.
Is it like that on Sunday? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm driving down the highway and I started to connect with them. And it was really interesting because unless someone comes into my field, which doesn't happen, it can be you, it could be like an incarnated person, but if it's someone that's disincarnated or left or transitioned, it doesn't happen. It used to happen a lot, but it doesn't happen to me like in the last 5 years. So as soon as I was driving down the road and I was, you know, headed over there, and I just called him up. And as soon as I did it, he was in my face.
Wow.
And he had these big white wings with purple edges. And he was like, he had a big, beautiful smile anyway. And his smile was like huge. And he was so excited. And he was just like, dude. And he was speaking in terms of we, like collectively, we.
Yes.
In both sides of the veil. But he was saying we are, he said, we are, like, we have blown it away. Like we have gone way beyond what we had all.
We overshot the
highest
mark.
hopes. We overshot it. We're blowing it up. It's happening. And he said to me, it's only going to get better.
Yes.
That's what he said. He says, it's only going to get better. It was emerging, by the way.
And that's a choice though. For anybody who's watching that feels that they're in the dumps, it is a choice. It is going to get better, but you have to choose it. And that, for me, that's what I was seeing. And I feel like I just need to speak that. If you choose it, it will absolutely, everything will align. Just choose it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, it was amazing. He merged with me, and then I drove over there, and I just got like a little bit of something in the Coke, and I was like, I'm gonna sit here, and I'm just gonna do this here. You know, it's just a little what they call a quarter. So it's like a drink. Okay. So I got a Coke and I sat there for 10 minutes. I connected with him. He told me some more stuff. And then I got back on the road and I started downloading. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, holy shit. And so I'm driving.
I love this.
I'm driving and I've had like, you know, your head tingles and your Kundalini moves a little bit. I'm thinking, I don't know if I can drive, right? Like I'm driving into the sun's going down. I'm like shaking like this. And there was this huge, and I've felt solar to heart before, but this was different. This was like, and he was showing me, he said, this is what y'all are doing. The heart is expanded. It's like the heart was the solar. It was hard to explain, but like, in other words, the expansion of the heart was power. Like it was power, like the solar's power. And I felt it, man. And I mean, I'm like, you know, I send Morgan a note and I'm like, this is what just happened and something's going on. And so that would have been what, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And here we are, and she's been calling, she's actually been saying, I know at least 3 or 4 weeks, she's been saying the 22nd.
Oh, it's on tomorrow. Yeah. That's why it was like, okay, Monday or Tuesday. But after that, who knows what's going to happen when we were, moving dates around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's so about the heart. That's when I was resting, I would actually be, if I was in dream state, I would come to with my heart feeling like it's gonna burst, but physically, not just energetically, like it was all levels. So thank you for that confirmation, because
that's how it felt for me.
It vibrates up through the throat and down to my second chakra. Like I
thought I was going to throw up several times. I thought I was going to throw up, or I thought I was going to have like an orgasm while I'm driving. I thought that's not going to.
I'm so happy you're saying this. This is so good. Yeah. See, everybody, it comes through somehow. I love it, Nathan. Thank you. Yeah. All right, I'm good.
All right, what do you mean you're good?
Are we done yet? No.
We're not. Where are you going?
Well, there's so much. There's so much.
There's so many people. I feel
like we could sit here forever.
Let me see how many people are on here. There's so many people here to see you.
I don't want to know who's on here. I feel like it's just you and I. Let it just stay with you and I.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Well, there's almost 144 people. I'll let you know when the numbers line up. But no, so, this is you. Well, on an individual level. Okay. All right. You as a physical representation of the divine feminine rising. And what I mean by that is the women like you who've been doing this for years and years and years, yes, have been in the background.
Yes.
As a physical representation, I'm not saying you personally, but as a physical representation of that energy, it needs to be seen. So I'm just putting the word out, soulogynetwork@gmail.com. We have a new email.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
It's just a new email. Well, we've got some help. Lee, I'm horrible with these names. Leilani. I don't know. Leilani Solberg. She's helping us. It's fit. It's a perfect fit. It's a Trinity connection. She's come in and, some people come in like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? She just came in and like, just does it. She sent me a note yesterday and she's like, how do you respond to people on, like coordinating things, messenger, email? And I said, well, most people it's messenger, because I hadn't been doing it much, until Morgan had to hand it off to me a few weeks ago.
That is crazy.
And then so she said to me, well, I might just tell you how we're going to do it.
I love her.
And I said, you do whatever you want. I surrender.
I was just ready to say, you said you surrendered to the goddess.
I told her, I surrender. You do whatever you want to do. But anyway, so we really like, and this has always been the focus, has been, as we've been told 2.5 years ago, and Soulology, the energy came to Morgan and I in Georgia and said, this platform is for the voices of the Mother Goddess, which includes every single person on the face of the earth, that part of them that's been suppressed, that we all know is home now, and that's expanding. And to your point about embodiment, that is further expanded at a more of an exponential level when we take the physical actions and do it. So I'm just soliciting anyone who wants to speak from that part of their energy field. And you can do so by just sending an email to soulogynetwork@gmail.com.
So it's Soulology Network. Yeah, I told you I have a list, because I have, you had that great little meeting with Gayatri and
Oh my God, those women were incredible, man.
Yes. So
that's the energy I'm talking about. And so they're going to come on. They're going to come on once a month.
Right.
Melina Ferguson just agreed to come on once a month. We're also, this is all kind of dovetailing into the expansion of the network. So multiple channels, multiple shows. It won't be Todd on every show, you know.
That's
Todd will
beautiful.
still do, you know, 45 shows a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's going to be more. I'm meeting tomorrow night with Josh and Tim Pearson, you know, Josh Pearson.
Yeah.
Aaron and Pamson, Tim, and so they're going to be doing some video editing. So, and the whole idea is to bring this frequency out, like to take this episode or take those women, the Cosmic Ladies group.
Is that what they call it? Yeah.
Yeah, and just take snippets and start to get that stuff out there.
Yes.
By whatever means necessary, you know.
Well, I know of several groups of amazing women coming together like that. And actually, I told you about the 9 of us, me and my 8 other beautiful sisters all around the globe. Again, I when I was there, I was telling you in Morgan, my one friend, Natasha, she's incredible. She's a gatekeeper. She does amazing work. She's in New Zealand. And she has just traveled the world and was back home before the lockdown. But New Zealand, South Africa, London, Australia, and Spain. So, and then US. So, and we're on WhatsApp, and we've done a live and whatever.
You've done a live? Y'all done a live?
No, we've done a live like call, like a Zoom call. Sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't say live, but there are lots of those like that, and men. I mean, I've seen so many, because it doesn't matter the vessel you're in, but
no, it doesn't.
That is coming forward now.
I've noticed this. You're right. I've noticed this. It's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to watch, because obviously, okay, so like if you look at, you know, there was 80%, 85%, you know, whatever, 75% women to men in these circles. But when you looked at the, let's just say like the lives and the video productions, it was disproportionate. There was more men, more masculine energy than feminine energy, right?
Yeah.
And I say that regardless of gender, there was more masculine energy.
Yep.
And that, of course, you know, mostly looks like men like me out there, right? You know, Rick Jewers, people like that. But what I've noticed, and I don't know how far back this goes, but I think I want to say about 2 months, I've noticed that there's an energy stepping forward, like this brother, Andrew Rollins, that was on this weekend. They're quiet, they're reserved, they have the same attributes that you do, that you represent. That feminine that's doing the work, but kind of sitting back here, right? Doesn't really want to be in the spotlight. Yet I'm starting to see men stepping up, and I've never seen them before, right? And it's that energy, and it's very cool.
Well, and it's also like a ripening, you know, when every individual gets to that point, and some come out before. It really depends on their individual makeup, but I really can't stress enough that this new energetic, we're out of the old template, and so the masculine energy was able to elbow its way and feel confident because it was in an environment that was conducive for the masculine.
That feminine,
and not in a positive way. I'm not saying that, you know, negative or positive. I'm just saying that, you know, when a being is holding a more feminine energetic and or distorted, it doesn't even matter, but does not feel comfortable yet to come forward or hasn't matured into themselves, then it's appropriate. But look at the timing, you know, with the feminine leading right now, and feminine energetic that we're saying is leading right now.
It's true.
That's because it's the new template. This is a new grid. There's nothing in my life that resembles the old. I have 4 adult children, and I have many grandchildren. And you would think—
How can you do that? You're only 39. How do you do that?
Exactly. I adopted everything. And so, you know, it's just that we could feel and live and be who we are with all of everyday life, you know, anything, everything from food to relationships to loves to family to death, you know, and death, that's a whole different subject. Mm-hmm. Melissa shared a video yesterday on a doctor. It was brilliant about death. But, you know, we have all these things going on simultaneously. And that is the merging, because if we are refining all those things that were attached to the old and they're refined down into our essence, we are walking. It's not that people have been thinking, I was thinking, it's all going to change. Everything's going to look different. I'm going to walk into a magical world. Mm-hmm. You know what? I have.
That's right.
And my coffee cup hasn't changed.
That's right.
And I still have a computer in front of me, and I still have a bag of laundry, and I still did it. And so have you.
That's right.
Every single person that is within the range of our voices.
Well, and I think what's happening too is I think this whole masculine feminine thing is like that echo that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not sticking anymore. Mm-hmm. And the reason I think it's not sticking is because there was nobody at fault here. And everybody got deeply imprinted by the patriarchal design that we all had a hand in. Mm-hmm. Hello. And that shit ran deep. And there's many of us, if not all of us, that have these deep biases and prejudices that nobody, not even Jesus, okay, I'm sorry, could be aware of every bit of it, because it's been hundreds and hundreds of incarnations. And if you didn't have direct incarnations, you have access to it through the ancestral lineage and just through our collective lineage. But what I'm trying to say is, if you look at Franco's example, for example, if what he says is accurate, which I believe it is metaphorically, that the projection of the inverted matrix was shut down in January, right? Yep. That means that this is why the echoes, because no longer are they being reinforced. They used to be like a megaphone, right? So it would expand into, the waves would expand, and then our egos or whatever engaging would expand it more, and the ball kept being put into play. But now that's shut down. So the old Mars Venus thing, and on a personal level, from a personal experience or previous incarnations or ancestral lineage, what's happening is those imprints from the, let's just say, the false matrix, or the whatever you want to call it, they're being replaced by these new pathways, and they're becoming echoes. They're not working anymore. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the whole thing about no blame. And I've heard people talk about this over the last 2 weeks. They've like, oh, shame, and no more shame, no more guilt, no more blame. It's up. I've heard a few people say that, but to me, that's what's happening. It's just like, okay, well, there's no need for forgiveness.
Well, yes. And yes, everything that you said, yes. And that could be seen in two things. When you said about the masculine, feminine, and the old patriarchy and new, just think what you were just sharing earlier, and what I experienced in my physical yesterday. When you're talking about the heart and the solar coming together, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Merging. So there's that. And then the other thing about the whole game, once we're done and we say we're done, we're really done.
That's true. That's true. Okay. That is so true. And that applies to everything. So you want to talk about masks, you want to talk about vaccines, you want to talk about Q, you want to talk about spaceships, you want to talk about whatever, Santa Claus, whatever you want to talk about. Something has shifted. When we say we're done, we're done. And it's that simple. And I give that example. I told you about when we pulled out of the driveway and the cop pulled up.
Yes. And
what are you doing here? I live here. Give me your license. No. like I didn't do anything. But that wasn't the point. See, I used to be like your son. Like, I'm going to get down there on boots on the ground, and I'm going to tell him to stick it where the sound don't, you know?
Yeah.
But then I realized I had been watching those videos, and even though I wasn't getting a charge, or I didn't think I was, or didn't want to admit I was, I don't know. I created that incident. So from that point, I go through the phone, and they have the algorithm set up, and there'll be a police brutality or black light.
Yeah.
And I'll look at it and I'll go, I can't do that. I'm choosing not to do that. And I'm not saying it. It's not even about that. It's just that I'm not doing that. I'm done. And
it's only for you. And when we do that, we don't have a judgment on anybody else and what they choose. Yeah, I have tons of examples of that. Just, but the beauty in it is what we're talking about and what we have been experiencing seems to be, and for me, what I encounter, it's all creating the new.
It is.
Everything is creating the new. But even what, the algorithms, what's being fed to us and what does come into our sphere, and it's all important because it's a process. It's definitely a process of, the fading in or out to the self. It's still necessary if there's still a charge and interest, your heart is wrapped around it. I mean, I have 4 children in all different phases of it. Yeah. It's all so magnificent to watch, to really understand this. The soul, just like we did, asked, I need all this. I need all this setup to get to where I need to be, back home to myself. Yeah. I need to go through all of this. I need to walk the streets. I need to scream into my phone in the snow being thrown out of the hotel. Like whatever that is, whatever it is for someone, it is. And it's all okay. And it can simultaneously exist because our own individual toroidal field can be where we dwell.
It's when and I think so if I look back at the watching police brutality videos, not getting a charge, thinking I wasn't getting a charge, I really to this day don't think I was. But the fact that I was watching it, and then the fact that it actually happened to me, and that the fact that I didn't go into rebel mode. I just went, this is my deal. It ain't about that dude. He was just doing his job. Yes. He's so and another thing that my friend that I merged with 2 days ago when I was driving down the road, that transition that he said to me, and this was part of like an ongoing conversation, involved Morgan, it involved maybe a couple of shows, and that was beyond cliche and just pretty words. This whole thing was set up, this realm was set up on the infringement of other people's energetic fields. We might call that freedoms or sovereignty or whatever the case is, but we do it. See, we do it here. If I have a prejudice or a bias and make a judgment, I am now encroaching on someone's real estate in the universe. And so this is what he was telling me, what you just said. He said to me and actually showed me, it looked like a kind of like yarn, like Morgan makes things with, the yarn, like for crocheting, but it looked like it had, like, in other words, none of it was connected. They all had their own lines. Like, how it would be connected. And so they all had their own lines.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they were all free flowing. And he was showing me what you just said. And he just said, for, the key, like at an individual level is do your thing, man. 100% focus on you. Boom. And from the highest intention, I mean, you are the universe and all that. He told me all that. And he just said, and this is where you guys are at. He didn't say you guys, he said, this is where we are at.
Yeah.
Like, so, and I think that's another kind of a wild card is going to be how much are the other
realities,
dimensions and timelines like him, like the people that have passed, how much of it's going to bleed over? What's that going to look like? What's that going to look like? Are they, you know?
You experience it all the time.
True. Yeah, true.
And that's the new experience. It's funny you said about words. That's one thing I wanted to touch on when I started down the line. I've started down so many with Shanine and Jed's conversation, I believe it was, or the other one. It was one of Shanine's conversations about words. None of the old words feel the same. Mm-hmm. They don't feel appropriate or fitting.
True.
And for me, that has been a challenge in my writing. And it's just going back to the simple, plain English for me right now is, for some reason, so much more charged with my own energy than trying to adopt and adapt words that have been, a play and spin. And it was beautiful.
Yeah, I get that. I'm back to C spot run. I'm serious. I can't.
My Lord. Yeah, it has to be simplified.
This dude, Richard Sandelas. Anyway, he hit me up a couple of weeks ago. He said, I want to do a podcast. Would you help me? And I said, yeah, I'll help you. Anyway, he got all the stuff in a row and everything. We did a little interview.
Oh, is he the guy that interviewed it? Is that his name?
Yeah, Richard. Yeah.
I love that. Yes,
yeah, he was.
I thought it was great.
Well, so we did a show. It was his first show. He said, well, why don't you just do the first show with me? I'm like, okay, I'm cool. So, but there was something we were talking about, and he said to me, because when we were talking about his show, and it was just a perfect microcosm of what we all go through, and so what was happening was he wanted to do a show, and he had all these factors: family, money, so he had anxiety. And so he's telling me about it. This is why I can't be a practitioner, by the way. And he's telling me about it. I said, dude, you just need to, shift or get off the pot. You need to 0 point that. He said, what? He said, and then we went on, right? And he did. So when we got on the show, he said to me, when you said the word 0 point, and he named his show 0 Point Productions, right? So he said, when you said that word 0 point, something happened to me. Like something happened, something occurred in me, and I could start to understand that I could live in this place of neutrality with all these factors of opposition, And so then he went on to ask me, what does it mean to you? And I told him, well, you don't know this, but I'm married to the 0 point, guru, right? So we had a little conversation about that. But what he said to me was, he said, it sounds like, and there's a reason I'm saying all this. He says, it sounds like it could be done through meditation, because I said, it's very simple, the process, in this example, we're talking about. And he said that, and I said, no, I said it was simple, but it's not easy. And the reason it's not easy is because which is so appropriate right now. It's like you have to be brutally honest from the soul about your beliefs, about your perception of who you are, your everything. Yes. Everything has to be, because when you do that, because it requires the full presence of the human aspect, because we can't do this without the human. The human is front and center. If
synthesizer. It's a synthesizer of everything.
That's right. It's
that we're doing.
To me, it's like, because we're in the Trinity, so it's like those triangular craft, the spacecraft. And if that's the energy body, the human's on point. Like the human's on point.
Yeah.
And it's been where we're unconscious and this thing's flying all over the place, hitting buildings and stuff. Now we're conscious and we have all this with us.
Yes.
And it's like on autopilot. So God, like that's what probably intrigues me the most, Tiel, is what's going to happen? What are the capabilities in this consciousness that has a physical vessel? Because there's no difference between us and our multidimensional aspects, except for the fact we're the boots on the ground. We're the ones down here doing the work. We have the body, the flesh. We're God's in the flesh. And are we going to be able to leap tall buildings, you know, teleport. And I believe we are. I really do.
Well, think about it. You've had a few people on lately that actually have demonstrated this to you. We're all just getting a peek at it because I mean, a peek. Like there was, I think it was Einstein or something that said about the universe, it's like a pinhole prick of what really is there in the cosmos of what we can see. Yeah. So that metaphor for what we're experiencing in each other, but mostly within, in what we just everything that has been discussed is just a peak. And you had Abby on. Oh Abby God. Flynn, is she not like a superhuman right now? Showing, like she said, she spoke it, it came. She spoke it, it left.
Yeah.
Her cancer. I'm speaking of it. Doesn't know. Watch that episode, people. Yeah. Listen and watch that episode. And so that my son, my son for me, huge. And you've had so many other people to speak these things, but just that dragonfly, like a dragonfly, listen to me, talk to me. I mean, the state that I was in, I love being in all these different aspects, by the way, so I can do this and be silly or fuck up or do whatever. But so anyway, when I was in that state, that was the whole point, to show me, to show us that you called that beautiful being in who just transitioned. And he came, he talked to you. We're not making this up. This is really happening. We ask for rainbows and they come. I mean, but this is a glimpse.
It's not a coincidence. It's
but it's a glimpse of what we're doing, but it really comes with deciding.
Yeah.
And even if another part of ourselves decides for us, and you know, it kind of goes in a bit more of an echo, like that policeman showing up. Mm-hmm. You said, you know what? Am I really done with this?
Yeah, I want to be done with it. So let's make something happen. How deep do you want? Yeah, how deep do you want to go?
But it's all beautiful. Yeah, it's all amazing.
It's very true. Yeah, very true. I just lost my last thought.
I've been doing that the whole time.
I know. I can't remember shit anymore.
I'm trying to hang on here. I'm like, there that goes.
Yeah, but that's like, Abby, right? Oh. So and people, and you're right. There has been David Manning. You know, his
yes.
HIV
that was the other one I did hear. Yes.
But I loved her explanation because her explanation.
Oh, Marianne Savino. Sorry, go ahead.
There you go. Yeah.
I had it at her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but I love her explanation where she said she didn't even have any. She just said, "I know something's wrong." Like she said, I didn't even have God. Like I didn't even. And I was never consistent in that. And I was doing my thing. I'm 26 years old, and I say to my body, something's not right. Show me. Boom. A month later, she goes to the doctor because she's been in pain since that moment. And you have an 11 centimeter tumor. And then she goes down. But on the way out the door, what is it? 3 years later or 2 years later, she says, I'm done. And boom, it disintegrates. It's gone. And she meets the love of her life. She has a baby. She makes her own records.
She gets pregnant after all that chemo. Yeah. I mean, it's just, if you can hold up one story, and only one, for me, that would be it right now. That would be it.
Yeah, and that's going to be.
She is the walking new potentiality of the human. And that's only just a little example.
Yeah.
So imagine.
I know, man. Incredible. It's coming. It's absolutely coming. So we are a couple things. Real quick. Yes. So TL is going to be coming on a regular basis, as I understand. Well, okay. So everybody just vote. If you think TL should be coming on a regular basis, I think she should, because I think she's really good at this. But I'll let the people decide.
Yeah, I didn't do anything yet, but
So we're going to try something different on Friday. I just want to tell everybody, or actually, is it Friday? Yes, Friday. Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. By the way, I just loaded up 47 shows last night. So,
my.
And we've got Leilani. How do you say it? Leilani is going to be loading some more.
It's Hawaiian. You should know how to say that.
I don't know how to say nothing. I have a really hard time with it. I don't know why. And
so she'll be loading your shows. So,
yeah. Well, we've got, so it's really going to be great.
Thank you, Leilani. Yeah. He needed this help. Really needed it.
Soulology Network at gmail.com. But anyway, Friday, Allison Janes, and we're speaking to Greg Prescott earlier. So Allison Janes and fun. Greg Prescott have connected. And, there's a lot of people, and I'm not knocking anybody because it's not an easy journey for any of us. And everybody wants someone to love. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? And that's the way the universe is built. And it'll happen for all of us. But they met and they came out.
It happened.
And they've not met in the flesh. And they came out publicly after being veterans in the lightworker community and watching so many people get burned when they declared they found their twin flame. That takes balls. And we did a show last week and they were so legit,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They were
Greg,
so legit.
When he said, I'll sing it from the rooftops, I just wanted to just cry, laugh, and dance at the same time. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And she's pure. I mean, it's just amazing. Yes. It's an amazing story. So Friday we're going to do a fundraiser because England and US, you can't fly to and from, but they can both fly to another country and meet. And the reason, so the reason that we're going to do this fundraiser, I just want to, and I'm going to be talking about this. The reason that we're going to do the fundraiser is because we've spent so much time looking at one side. It's time to start looking at what's on the other side. As Soulology was given to me 9 years ago, I said, what does it mean, Archangel Michael? He said, the other side of truth. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? He goes, well, if it's not true, then that's it, right? So my point is that we're going to support bringing this, if we look at it as energy, bringing this energetic template into embodiment and anchoring. So we're going to do, we've done some before for other people. We did one from, we helped with Marianne, that one. We've done some other ones, the Native Indians and Pine Ridge. But this is, I think, really important. These people need to come together.
Yeah.
They need to come together because the earth needs to anchor that when those two souls coordinates meet. So I don't think it'll be a lot of money we have to raise, maybe a couple $1,000, but we're going to do a 2-hour program. She's going to do some things, and Greg and I will probably do some things. We'll have some conversations, talk to some people, but I just want to throw that out there because that's a new little twist. And I think it's very worthy. I think it's very worthy to buy into or to embrace these new energies because this is how the energy expands.
Yes.
Is by being it, like you were saying.
And the collectivity of everyone coming together under and with that energetic, to lift it up and really help it happen. That's beautiful. Let me just also, I had a thought, you can request people who have points too. They might want to offer their points.
Well, and that's how it happens, right? That happened on the that show with Richard, 0 Point Productions. He was telling I was explaining to him about abundance. And you live this. I mean, we came to the mainland. We came to the mainland, and we didn't have anything. But with, like you said, when you say I'm done, and by the same time, I decide, because if I'm done with this, I've decided something, right?
Yeah.
We decided we had to go, and we had to borrow money just to get our car over there. So we're already in the hole, $1,700, right? And I've already taken loans and paid in the process of paying them. I didn't have any, but my point is that it was like as soon as we made that choice, within 24 hours, by the time we landed at LAX, we had 3 days, Jen Reynolds and Eric, hey, we're not going to be there. Then we had another week somewhere with these 2 beautiful ladies. Then we had a month at Ventura where Annie Weberly had moved out of her apartment and let us have it. Just had a bed and a couple of dishes. But I mean, this is abundance. Mm-hmm. The abundance is could be somebody steps up with some points, something like that. So,
and it's only going to get better. This is just the start. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for this. This was beautiful.
See, all this time we could have been doing this. I mean, we would be.
We have been doing it, just not in front of a bunch of people.
I know. Yeah. So, just last thing. So, how long are you going to be in Shasta until your boyfriend comes?
What's his name? I thought it was going to be for a while.
Yeah. You don't know.
No, I'm being shown. I'm going to have to go soon.
Oh, you going back to Sedona, or do you know?
I think so. Listen, just so everyone knows, this is really, it's a whirlwind. I feel like when everyone seems to be settling in places, I almost feel like I'm the only one out here. Like, I've done the whole country and I'm just listening. I'm not crazy, people. I'm actually enjoying every moment of it. But I thought I was going to be in Shasta a while. I don't know, maybe for the 8/8 I'll be here. And then it's open. I'll let you know. Maybe I'll do a live. So
it was basically a year ago when the three of us were in Kauai together.
We did Kauai. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. It seems like 20 years. It seems like a long time. It seems like
absolutely
5 years. Okay.
What happened between then and now?
Yeah.
Lifetime.
No kidding, man. How many meltdowns have I had in a 12 months?
Yeah, and then look at you.
I think I've had 104. I've had 144 in 12 months. 12 meltdowns or whatever.
Well, I'm glad you're still standing, brother.
Yeah. All right, love you. Tell Helen I said hello. And,
I will.
Maybe you guys can come on together before you leave. That'd be cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Squeeze Morgan for me.
Okay, I will.
Hi.
I'll do more.
Bye, everybody.